So John was decent tonight. That's I don't know what they've told you, but that's the most ever by a Cougar quarterback. It's the first technically 200-yard game in 15 years. I mean, you knew he was mobile. Did you know that this was in his arsenal to go for 200 in one game?
I do know this. Coach Leach would be really disappointed. They'd be like, why the hell are you running your starting quarterback? What are you doing? I think a lot of things are possible for John. And I say that in a really humble, hungry, positive way because he's just going to keep getting better. We know he's wildly talented. We knew he was dangerous running the football, but the quarterbacks are never live, so you never really know. He would get mad at me in scrimmages. He goes, Coach, they would never get me down right there, right? So he played within himself. He made an early mistake. He had to rebound from it. Really proud of just kind of the grit of the offense. And obviously I think we had almost 300 yards rushing. I think that was really, really important for this game.
You talked about going into this past week of practice, the defense would come out with their hair on fire. I think fair to say we saw that tonight. 16 points, 4 turnovers, I guess 3 and then 1 on special teams. But how inspired were you by their performance against a squad that you said going into the week, top 10 offense by the end of the year, and you held them to 16 points?
I would say this. I'm just so proud of the way those kids responded. And Jamie, it was just exactly how I thought it would be. They took it personal last week, as they should. Really proud of Coach Schmedding, that defensive staff. They ground this out. This is a 4-month game plan. I guarantee you that. That just didn't come together this week. We planned in the summer. We knew what we were going to get. Those guys went out there and executed, but this is a player's game. The players went out there and played their ass off, and just really proud of those guys. And we did it a lot of different ways. It wasn't easy. They went for, turnovers, yeah, but I count those 4th down stops as turnovers too. So just a hell of a job by the defense, and I love it. Chris Hudson's in there saying, what a team win, because it was. It was a hell of a team win.
John's 1 touchdown pass goes to Kyle on the deflected pass. For him to go into the locker room with some type of injury, come back, and I don't think that was his first catch of the game, too. Do you know what the deal was when he went into the locker room, and then just kind of what'd you make of that catch?
Yeah, I think he just went down on his shoulder, and Kyle's a warrior. Kyle's tough. Kyle's physical. He isn't just this prima donna wide receiver, and I appreciate kind of the effort that he gave there. And we just couldn't get any flow going passing the ball. It was pretty obvious. They were taking a lot of quick throwing lanes away. We didn't take it probably up top, maybe enough, but that was a big play at a big moment, right? That quick swing after getting the interception, getting that score before the half, knowing we got the ball coming out. Huge play. Just really proud of Kyle Williams and everything that he's done for our program.
Total 301 rushing yards for you guys tonight. I don't know the last time you guys went for 300. Just for as much of a struggle as that was last year, it seems like you guys are kind of turning. Do you feel you're kind of at a turning point?
I think it's a step in the right direction. They took last year's game plan. They're going to drop 8. They're going to rush 3. And I thought we did a good job kind of staying ahead of it. And then you just saw the runs start to rip. And, Wayshawn had a big one. John obviously had a couple big ones, scrambling around, doing a bunch of different things. But, we'll see the film. There'll be some critique there where we can get better, and we left some out there. But really proud of those guys, and it takes that group up front. I'm not sure if John got sacked, kind of the helmet deal at the end, but hell of a job by that offensive line.
Earlier in the week, Budda said that Josh Kelly was in for a tough day. He ends up stripping him of the ball and, returning that fumble. What did you see from Budda today as a leader of your defense?
Yeah, I think Budda definitely played his best game. He rebounded from what we saw at Portland State. He was physical, he was fast, he was aggressive. He's playing within himself. He pressed in week 1. Budda's a great player when it just lets it come to him because he's so natural and quick and instinctive, and he's super physical. So I think you saw the best of 0 tonight, and he's got to keep getting better for us to keep improving.
Parker impresses again. What did you see from your freshman running back?
Yeah, I think he was gutsy. I think he just keeps getting better. He keeps making people miss the big runs. The ball security is the biggest thing I'm proud of him for through the first 2 games, being really secure with, that role. But he's going to keep expanding. We're going to need all those guys, because you see him hobbling there a little bit at the end. So just proud of Wayshawn and what he's done through the first couple weeks being a Coug.
Coach, congrats on the win. You talked a lot this week just about how you prepare for your opponents. They're a faceless opponent, and your goal is the same with each game day. But I'm just curious now how you're feeling and know this one is a big win, and just overall how it feels to get this win.
Feels great. Feels great for that locker room, for all the work that I've seen. These guys staying here, being committed to this program. But this is not a statement win. Washington State has played at the highest level forever. We beat another team that plays at the highest level. That's it. We've done that hundreds of times. Okay, that's the way we look at it. That's what we're excited about. We came in to get 1-0. We knew we had to play a certain way, and we went out there and did it. That's what I'm the most proud of. So, I don't want to get into, it was bigger than what it was. We took down a Power 5 team, and we're a Power 5 team.
Also, when you guys prepared for Texas Tech this weekend, there was a lot of talk about like how they have our playbook, you have their playbook. Oh, yeah. When you were preparing versus kind of this team that came out tonight, did you get the Texas Tech that you kind of thought you would get?
Well, I thought they were artful in what they were doing. I mean, Clay knows what takes away our pressure, so they did a lot of empty. But it was a cat and mouse game, back and forth. But like I said, I told the guys that, all that stuff, and I said this during the week, it's going to come down to how we execute. And our word of the week was trust. And I think these guys trust the plan. More importantly, they trust in each other, and that's stuff that you earn. Like that win tonight, it just solidifies everything that we've worked so hard for.
Coach, your secondary got backed up a few times, but it seems like we've kind of seen Ethan O'Connor grow before our eyes this fall. Capenna had a big game. Tyson Durant was running all over the field tonight, especially in your secondary. What did you see from that group tonight?
That was the one thing coming in. Could we communicate the adjustments to go out there and play? Because when they're aligned and they know what they're doing and they talk, we execute at a high level, and we got a lot of young, talented guys back there. And I think they finally took that step of putting it together. I'm really proud of Coach Malone, Coach Brown, obviously Coach Schmed, and what those guys went out there and executed. I mean it. This is a good offense. I think we had the QB rattled. I thought he was just a little bit off all night, and I thought you saw that. But they just kept punching, kept swinging, the botched onside, all those things. The defense just kept answering the bell, and the secondary was a big part of that.
When you found out right before game time that Brooks was a no-go, did that make you have to change anything on the fly, or were you guys just set at that point?
No, I mean, I just think, I obviously feel bad for them. They're missing, arguably their best player, but, it is football, and those are things happen, and you kind of adjust, knowing they probably won't run it as much, but they stayed true to kind of who they are and what they did. They didn't throw as many vertical RPOs as I was anticipating for. But, yeah, it was, hopefully he makes a speedy recovery.
Coach, you kind of talked about it in your first answer, the irony of, the team that Coach Leach coached for with Texas Tech, and then obviously coaching here, and then the irony of John Mateer, the kid from Texas, getting 200 yards on the ground and breaking all these records. Is that a coincidence? Is that an irony? What do you get out of that? What do you think of that?
I kind of get where you're going with that. Like I said, this game was just created 5 months ago, so we put him in the coach in the Hall of Fame. Just happened to be Tech. We have a bunch of Texas guys in our roster, Ansel Dinboo and Ram and Boogie and a bunch of different guys, and it'll continue to be a hotbed for us. But like I said, I think Coach would be proud of this football team, what he built, us continuing, his legacy on in our own sort of way. But just – like I said, really happy for this football team, and I think this can be a big catalyst, and we know what's coming next week.
I was going to ask.
Last thing, go ahead, Jamie.
Sorry. One more. I just had to ask about David Gust. I think the stat sheet shows 3 tackles, but it seemed every time Morton dropped back, he was in the face of him. I mean, I think 4 hurries. You just talk about kind of how disruptive he was to their passing game.
Really important, because you don't get stats for a lot of things that David does. It's grimy, it's dirty, it's tough, but he is as physical and demanding of presence inside as we've seen here. So to see David go out and play that way with heart and passion and physicality, and with an edge, and David plays with an edge. So you had the personal foul last week. You're going to get some of that with that, but also just really aggressive and really proud of. I think the way that whole D-line front played was just really, really good. Yeah, last thing, I just want to thank all the fans. I mean that. They're out here, they're investing in our football program. It means a lot to this team, means a lot to me, and I'm not going to sell that short, because when you run out that tunnel and it gets loud on third down, like that stuff's really important. And investing in our football team is everything. Investing in our football program going forward is going to be everything that we need to be about. Investment comes before winning. Winning doesn't precede investment. And I think that's what we all need to understand. And I'm so thankful for Cougs everywhere, and hopefully they're proud. Go Cougs.